Hey everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Outside the Lab, a podcast that the four of us here thought of to talk about science and other things that are outside the lab. So today we're going to be talking about the NBA finals that are happening right now between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns, and also the previous NHL finals that just finished off with the Tampa Bay Lightning winning. Before we start, do you guys want to just do a quick introduction?
Sure. My name is Waleed. I've known Daniel for a few years, and Abdullahi, and I have known uh, I've known everyone for 2 years roughly.
Okay.
I'll go next.
Yeah.
Hi everyone. My name is Brian. I go to U of T, and I've known Daniel for a couple years now as well.
Hey everyone, my name is Abdullahi, and I've known Daniel for about 2 years now. Met Brian through Daniel, as I don't go to U of T, and I've known Waleed for about 4 years now. So, yeah.
Yeah, and just kind of a to explain on that, I met Abdullahi and Waleed at the University of Waterloo, where I attended since 2016 and just finished off in 2020. And yeah, we kind of made this podcast, as I said, to talk about a variety of topics. So without further ado, let's start into the NBA Finals. What do you think, Waleed and Abdullahi?
I think that if Milwaukee wins tonight, it's borderline guarantee that they win the championship, and I do think they're going to win tonight.
Yeah, so tonight's Game 5, right?
Yeah, tonight's Game 5. The first two games were in Phoenix. Phoenix won both of the games, and Game 3 and 4 were in Milwaukee, and Milwaukee won both games on home court. And tonight is back in Phoenix, but I think Milwaukee has some type of momentum because they've tried so many different methods to win those two games, and I feel like they have more tools in the bag to beat Phoenix than Phoenix has to beat them.
I agree with Waleed. I do think that Phoenix Suns have a slightly bit of a chance of winning because of home court advantage, and they play really well at home. It's usually on the road that they struggle, so it's going to be a very interesting game. But yeah, from the very start of the series, I was Milwaukee all the way. So I'm confident that they'll win it. I'll be surprised if they don't, first of all. But I don't see them throwing it away at this point. But yeah, like Willie said, that they do have a lot of the momentum is shifted away from Phoenix. So I would say Milwaukee Bucks have a very good chance of winning it this year.
Yeah, because I've kind of been watching some games with my brother the last few games, and yeah, I have to say, looking at it, that looks like Phoenix has been, as you guys said, Phoenix has been dominant in the first two games, and they won the first two games. With Chris Paul obviously being great, Devin Booker just sometimes what I think is being half of the team, so scoring almost half of the team's points, it seems. Then again, sometimes he would falter, Booker, and then other players though, like D. Ayton, right, would step up, or there's another one, I think I forgot his name. Crowder, right? He would also do well. But yeah, as you guys said, it looks like now the players that we haven't seen that much on Milwaukee, or that have been more on and off, like Middleton, Holiday, they're really on the rise, and that's kind of fueling Giannis. Giannis being the main player on Milwaukee, the main shooter and scorer. Now I feel like he's being propelled by the kind of sudden drive that Holiday, Middleton, and a few, and even Brook Lopez, who I thought sometimes isn't even doing that well. He's being fueled by that, I feel. And yeah, now it seems like I agree with Waleed, if they can win tonight, Milwaukee, Phoenix doesn't really stand a chance. Now, if Phoenix wins tonight, I think that it's going to become. I think it's going to start to go down to overtime. If Milwaukee wins tonight, though, yeah, then they'll keep that momentum up, and only if there's a chance injury, then Phoenix can actually come back. But if Phoenix wins tonight, I'm a pretty strong feeling it's going to come down to overtime, because you're going to have a lot of like a lot of plays are going to have to start changing up to kind of think out each other's teams.
Yeah, I think if Phoenix wins tonight, that it's gonna go to a game 7 for sure.
Yeah,
Because I think regardless of what happens tonight, Milwaukee's winning game 6. It's like set in stone. But that game 7 could go anyway. If Chris Paul and Devin Booker are shooting hot that night, then they're gonna win. If Chris Middleton goes off for 40 again, then Milwaukee's gonna win. So it's just like you never know what's gonna. And if both of them, both Chris Middleton and Chris Paul and Devin Booker, all three of them go off, then it could be, as you said, like an overtime type of game, or a one possession game at the end of it.
I have a question.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you can ask.
I don't know anything what you guys are talking about, but is this like the finals or?
Yeah, so this is like the final two teams that are in the like brackets, because Phoenix won on the Western Conference and Milwaukee won on the Eastern Conference.
Mm-hmm. Is this like
okay? Dang, I want to disagree with you with one thing. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. What's up?
You did say that Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday is starting to help Giannis.
Yeah, that's what I think. Is they're kind of fueling him.
It's been like that, like literally the entire playoffs. Because Giannis can't do it all by himself. He needs the shooting guards to score at least 25. And Drew Holiday, it's just maybe one or two games where they struggled, but yeah, they've been helping all the way, especially third quarter. Yeah. So yeah,
I mean, I just thought that like certain players like Lopez weren't being like as helpful, especially like not necessarily this season, but maybe in like previous years. Whereas like Giannis was doing some carrying. But yeah, now I see for sure watching the games recently that it's been more divided, the efforts.
Brian, what was your second question?
Nothing much really, but remember when Raptors was doing the finals?
Yeah, so that was 2 years ago in 2019.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I remember there's like a certain amount of games until it decides who wins, right?
Yeah. So
how many wins do you need to like win?
So 4. You would need 4 because it's the best of 7. So there's 7 games, and if you win 4, then you win.
Okay, I get it. Cool.
So right now it's tied. Milwaukee and Phoenix both have 2 wins. Game 5 tonight, so we have 3 more games, and yeah, obviously that'll decide. They can win it by Game 6, one of them, or it can go all the way to Game 7. Which that's when it gets really intense. Where like, because the Raptors, like you were speaking of the Raptors 2019, they won in Game 6 because of the whole thing of the 6 and 6, right? But a lot of people I remember were talking to were thinking no, it was going to come back to Toronto for Game 7 because it just looked like Golden State was going to do well. Then again, there was the Kevin Durant injury which happened, so that changed. And that's actually what a lot of people are saying about this finals, because looking at the games before, right, we got to this point, is there's been so many injuries that have happened with Harden, who's the other guy on the team? James Harden.
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie, that's his name, yeah. And then Durant was carrying a lot, but it just was hard for Durant and Harden to keep carrying with Kyrie not there. And then you had who else was injured? That was a big player.
LeBron. Yeah, Anthony Davis.
What a lot of people are saying is now injuries are kind of a thing that people have to look for, really have to be ready for. Because I think that before, when there weren't that many injuries, like in the previous seasons, there was kind of like, okay, yeah, we could just keep going. And then when injuries happened, it was like, whoa, didn't expect that. Whereas now I feel like it's becoming almost something that you have to watch for just as much as, obviously like stamina and like readiness.
The reason why there's a lot of interest, especially this year, is because if you remember last year, there was a bubble, and all the teams were playing in Orlando, and the season ended pretty late. There was a very short, holiday because the NBA wanted to restart the new season as quick as they can. Because if I'm not mistaken, they normally start the season in October, and I think they restarted the new season close to December, if I'm not mistaken. And
I
then
think so.
they were playing like every other 2 days because they're trying to like get things back to normal, where the season ends at its usual time. So because players like are not recovering on time and playing constantly, there's a lot of injuries happening.
Yeah,
So
that's a good point.
yeah, Milwaukee has no injuries.
Yeah,
Phoenix
that's
doesn't
true.
have any injuries, so it's great. So we can watch 2 finals with no injuries, unlike the last few years where there's a lot of injuries. But yeah, that's what's up in the NBA.
Yeah, so I thought actually now we can quickly do a check on the NHL finals, because that's actually, as I said before, finished recently, and the Tampa Bay Lightning won. And we have with us our hockey expert Waleed, who he's kind of the only one out of all of us that really follows hockey and is plays hockey himself. Like, I used to follow hockey a bit, and still sometimes would occasionally maybe like follow a game, but I never really would watch, and I don't play. But what do you have to say about this, Waleed?
Well, similarly, like just the same as in basketball, it's a best of 7 series, and it was pretty evident after the first 2 games that Tampa was gonna mop the floor with Montreal. Montreal eked out a win in Game 4, so the series went back to Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay had home ice advantage. Went back to Tampa Bay with a 3-1 lead in the series. So Tampa finished it at home in Game 5, and they've been celebrating since. And they dented the Stanley Cup, and they're loving it. This is their second back. This is their back-to-back cup. So they won last year as well.
Yeah.
And one of the players on the team won 3 years in a row because he was on the team that won it in 2019.
Oh, nice.
And yeah.
And
should I talk about what? Sorry, go ahead.
No, this is fine. You can say it first.
I was gonna say, should I talk about what's happening in the off season, because that is juicy. There's
sure, if you
a
want.
new team coming in.
Oh no, so yeah, I was just gonna add for for listeners, and also Brian, if you're wondering, the captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning is actually from Markham. It is like from Canada, Steven Stamkos. So that's actually one thing that a lot of people know.
Represent.
Yeah, and there was actually quite a few games that I think they were like Game 1 and Game 2 of that finals that they were like really, really high scoring, right, Waleed?
Yeah. Yes. I don't necessarily remember the specific score, but I know that it was like 4-1, 5-1 a couple times.
Yeah, which by the way, for hockey is kind of like, it's not common. Like I think it's almost similar to like soccer, how you don't have these great gaps.
Yes, it's very similar to soccer. Maybe like a little bit
gaps.
Higher average score, average goal scored in a game, but it's pretty similar in terms of the differences between the amount of points scored. But Steven Stamkos will probably be bringing the Stanley Cup home to Markham. Nice. Yeah, in the coming weeks. So look out for that.
Yeah, and you were saying that.
Would you go to see the Stanley Cup League?
No, I've already seen it.
You already seen.
A neighbor of mine was the video coach for the Los Angeles Kings in 2012, and he brought it over because it was his day with the cup.
Oh, nice. But yeah, and actually, I guess one other thing for those listening is, if you're wondering, the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? The team from Toronto, they lost to the Montreal Canadiens. I want to say not too early on, but kind of in the middle of the playoffs, right?
No, they lost right at the beginning. They choked.
I thought it was like at least we got a bit farther than the previous years, but yeah, I think it was beginning.
Yeah, it was not good, but
it's always next year. As all the Leafs fans say, it's always next year.
Yeah, we unfortunately have to say that borderline every year.
But yeah, you were saying something about this new team.
Yeah, so what's gonna happen is there is a new team coming in, the Seattle Kraken, and what has to happen is they need to pick from 29 teams. They need to pick a player from each team. So there are 31 teams after they join the NHL, but they cannot pick from the 30th team because those are the Las Vegas Golden Knights, and they joined 4 years ago, so they are exempt from this expansion draft, as they just went through the exact same thing that Seattle is going through. So they are allowed to draft players from every team, and each team is allowed to protect either 4 forwards, 4 defensemen, and 1 goalie, or 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, and 1 goalie. So the protection allows basically for Seattle not to become a super team, because otherwise they would pick the best players from every team. But what this is doing is it's causing mayhem, because every general manager is scared of what happened during the Vegas expansion draft 4 years ago, where Vegas became really good because people underestimated some of their players, and when they all felt like they were rejected, they all banded together and played really good hockey. And Vegas has been a top 3 team ever since.
Yeah, so, you're right. That is interesting.
Yeah, and the lesson learned from that expansion draft was not to outthink the system and just protect players and leave it. Don't try to make weird trades, and don't try to do too much, because then you're going to end up losing a lot more than you had hoped. And history is repeating itself to even more, because right now general managers around the league are doing really stupid things, like exposing the goalie that brought Montreal to the finals. That just happened because they think that he's not going to be picked, which is asinine. He will be picked, and it's just ridiculous what's going on. I mean, I love it as a fan because the Leafs didn't do anything crazy, but I don't understand why they're all falling into the trap again.
Wait, they can pick anybody they want, because like the Montreal keeper goalie.
No, but they're not. They're deciding not to protect Carey Price. They're going to protect the backup goalie, because
why?
They don't think that they're gambling. They don't think that Carey Price is going to be picked because his contract is bad. But it's I think he only has 4 years left. It's not that bad. And this team has no contracts on their books, so they don't have any dead money or money sitting around.
Don't they have like a salary cap?
There is a salary cap. That's the main reason why they think his contract is going to be too bad for them to pick up. But they have $0 on their salary right now. Seattle does. So,
and who do you think they're going to pick on? Who do you think they're going to pick on the Raptors? Sorry, on the Maple Leafs.
On the Maple Leafs, they're going to pick some guy that we want to get rid of. So, his name's
Alexander. They're not
going
to pick Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, Nylander.
No, because they're protected.
Oh, interesting. Is it their contract that's protected?
No, but we're not going to let them go for nothing. You get what I mean, though, about when I said, like, you can either protect 4 forwards, 4 defensemen, 1 goalie, or 7 forwards, 3 defensemen, 1
right.
goalie.
Every team can do
meaning that they're exempt.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks everyone for joining us. This was the first episode of Outside the Lab, our podcast, and hopefully you'll join us for the future episodes. We're thinking of talking the next time about gaming, the different games that we play, and what games are coming out in the future. And just to let you know, right now it is Game 5 has already started. It's there's 10 minutes left in the first quarter. There's 4 quarters in each game, and it's now 2-1 Bucks to Suns. So tune in for that. Thanks everyone, and thanks for stopping by the lab. Sorry, thanks for stopping by Outside the Lab, and have a great day.
All right, see ya,
guys.